Hey, what is up, Peebers? Coach Kyle here, and I work primarily with plant-based runners all over to improve. I work primarily with plant-based runners all over the world to improve their running through optimized run training, strength work, nutritional habits, and anything else that might need dialed in, such as sleep, mindfulness, meditations, race tactics, etc. Today, you're going to learn about a few studies I have come across recently. I have no doubt you'll find them interesting, and I hope you can take one or two of them to the next level by learning something new and implementing what you learn into your life, particularly maybe if you're having sleep problems. So, the first study I want to talk about is related to one of my favorite foods, and that's garlic. So it's well known that garlic is a great anti-inflammatory and immunomodulator, but researchers wanted to look specifically at this food and any potential for it to alleviate rheumatoid arthritis symptoms. This was an 8-week randomized controlled trial with 70 ladies who had moderate to severe rheumatoid arthritis. The participants either took 1 gram of garlic or a placebo daily, and the clinical symptoms were evaluated before and after the intervention. What they found was that during this well-designed trial, there was evidence that garlic actually alleviated rheumatoid arthritis symptoms. Pretty cool. Potentially by dampening the inflammatory signaling. The garlic group experienced reductions in C-reactive protein, tumor necrosis factor alpha, disease activity scoring, joint stiffness, pain, fatigue, and it's also important to note that the participants were already taking multiple immunity suppressing pharmaceuticals, and this suggests that garlic can actually be used as an adjunct treatment along with these already prescribed medicines. Now, keep in mind one of the important compounds in garlic for both taste and health is the sulfur compound allicin. But what is interesting is garlic actually does not contain any allicin. You got to help it along. What you need to do is take garlic and simply press it. Allicin is created when the enzyme allinase meets the sulfur compound allin, and as enzymes do what enzymes do, something new is created, and that's allicin. The trick is that, like I said, before cooking, give it a good press, chop it up, and let it sit for at least a minute. It takes 10 seconds at least to kind of get that process rolling and completed. But the early compounds aren't heat resistant, so you need to don't crush it directly into the cast iron skillet. Another interesting study to come out recently looked at forest bathing, which isn't probably what you think it is. It's not actually bathing in the forest, but it's bathing yourself in forest. And it's basically being outside in nature mindfully, not just like driving through a park or something. This review looked at 14 studies related to forest bathing and hypertension, blood pressure, heart rate, and blood markers for cardiovascular health. The review found that what we assume is probably correct, it was kind of one of those like duh studies, is that spending time out in nature does indeed effectively reduce blood pressure, heart rate, physiological and psychological markers of stress, and it also improved blood markers of cardiovascular health and metabolism. So pretty cool. It's nice to see it, what we already know, validated in research. I think many of us runners already think it's important for us to spend time out in nature and make an effort to run not just outdoors in an urban setting, but a forested area, a trail if you can. For my clients and myself, I like to incorporate trail running into easy runs. It can be as simple as heading out your front door to a trail within running distance and spending some time running on the pavement to the trail and spending some time up on the trail, or driving on the weekends maybe to a local trail system and spending some time out there. Another way to incorporate forest environments into your training is to use hikes as a supplemental aerobic activity. I always tell my clients that they're more than welcome to do low effort cycling, hiking, taking the dog out for a walk as a second workout for the day, or potentially as a rest day activity. They can, if it's low effort, low impact, do as much as you want. And this is a great example that maybe you should spend a little more effort to get to a forested area. Another interesting study to come out in the summer of 2020 looked at how consuming organic foods impacted levels of toxic trace elements in the body. Heavy metals and chemicals pollute our air and water, which resultantly contaminates our food products. Long-term exposure to these can be linked to potentially cancer, diabetes, obesity, and other various health problems. The aim of this study was to evaluate the effects of detox diets by primarily looking at how organic ingredients affect toxin elimination. And this wasn't your detox diet like you only drink tea and vegan chicken noodle soup or something for 2 weeks. It was a detox diet in related to the actual trace elements. In this 4-week randomized control study of 45 healthy but overweight women who were recruited to evaluate the effects of organic food on body, the heavy metal detoxification. They were broken down into 3 groups, including a detox group, a regular diet but calorie restricted group, and a regular diet no calorie restricted group, which means they basically ate whatever they wanted to eat. The primary outcome was to observe trace toxic element levels in the hair, with the secondary outcome looking at body fat reduction measurements. Now, some of the participants had it easy, with the detox group and the calorie restricted group receiving prepared meals, salads, fruits, vegetables, juices, whole grains, meat, nuts, etc. The detox group only received organic, pesticide-free, and pollution-free products coming from these farms. The group with no calorie restriction and no organic products were simply instructed to maintain their usual diet intake and did not receive prepared meals. The outcomes were interesting in that the levels of 8 toxic trace elements actually decreased or displayed a decreasing trend in the detox group compared to the baseline levels. These elements were lead, nickel, rhodium, uranium, tin, gallium, silver, and tungsten. At the end of the 4 weeks, both the detox group and the restricted calorie group lost weight and had a lower body mass index, waist and hip circumference. The restricted calorie group lost a little bit more weight than the detox group. This was interesting for me to see that there were some trace toxic elements that decreased, but what it really showed to me was that not that eating organic food decreased these elements, but that eating non-organic food increased them. It's kind of weird. The final study I want to look at considers the impact of ashwagandha on sleep. This study piqued my interest because I actually take an ashwagandha supplement. There are thousands of herbal supplements out there on the market, but this one is probably one of the top options for herbal supplements that actually do something beneficial. It's also called Indian ginseng, but it's not actually ginseng. It's been used in Ayurvedic medicine for thousands of years to tackle just about any health problem you can think of, mainly nerve disorders, inflammation, anxiety, stress, or insomnia. This particular randomized control trial of 6 weeks included 150 healthy adults but who were experiencing sleep problems. They either took a placebo or 120 milligrams of ashwagandha extract daily. Sleep quality was assessed using a couple of different evaluation tools. The researchers also looked at sleep onset latency, or the time needed to fall asleep, total sleep time, sleep efficiency, and the time spent asleep while actually in bed, also the wake after sleep onset. What they found was that sleep onset latency, total sleep time, sleep efficiency, and wake after sleep onset, which refers to the periods of wakefulness after you actually fall asleep, all improved in the ashwagandha group. Self-reported sleep quality also improved by almost 75% in the supplement group compared to only 29% in the control group, and the self-reported quality of sleep also improved in the supplement group. So that was good news all around, except if you were taking the placebo. So I hope this research rundown was interesting for you. A couple of good ones here. We're looking at garlic or trail running or just taking an ashwagandha supplement. I'll link to the one that I take down in the comments below. So if you found these helpful, let me know which one you think you might try to implement. For me, gosh, I don't know. More trail running, why not? So actually what I will do is my marathon's in 2 weeks, and what I'm planning on doing is doing 3 hikes daily for 2 or 3 weeks after, 3 hikes weekly for 2 or 3 weeks after that, to keep getting out in nature. And my wife is gonna kind of go with me, and we're gonna try to do 3 hikes weekly while I'm not spending 10 hours a week running. So that'll be a nice kind of rejuvenative activity after the marathon. So that's what I have coming up. Let me know what study you found most helpful, and maybe something that you'll maybe try to change going forward from what you learned today. Now, as always, you know it's coming. You keep running, and I'm going to keep coaching.